Hi there and welcome to Mr. Mitchell's Mathematics. We're now going to be looking at how to identify different types of correlation on a scatter graph. Like always, you'll have an opportunity to try this out at home. So there are three different types of correlation you need to know. They're positive, negative, and no correlation. In graph A, we have an example of positive correlation. That is because as x gets bigger, so does y. In this case, we have height and weight, meaning that as people get taller, on average in the population, they also get heavier. In graph B, we have an example of negative correlation. That is because as x gets bigger, y gets smaller. In this case, we have number of cigarettes smoked and life expectancy, meaning that on average, the more cigarettes someone smokes, the lower their life expectancy is. And in graph C, we have an example of no correlation between height and maths test score. In this case, what we're saying is that the height of a student or the height of someone taking an exam has no impact on their maths score, which doesn't really need explaining. So if we got this question in an exam, what we'd do is we'd say A equals positive, B equals negative, and C equals not correlated. Good. So let's give you a chance now to try this on your own at home. Here are 8 different graphs, all with different types of correlation. Try and identify whether they're positive, negative, or not correlated. Pause the video and in a few moments I'll explain what are the correct answers. Best of luck. Okay, let's look at the first one. In this example, we have positive correlation. That is because as x gets bigger, so does y. And so we have positive. In the next one, we have the opposite, negative correlation. That's because as x gets bigger, y gets smaller, so negative. In the third one, we have no correlation. That's because as x gets bigger, y more or less stays the same. So there's not really any association between x and y. In the fourth one, we have positive correlation because as x gets bigger, y also gets bigger, so we'll put positive. In the fifth one, we have again no real association. X gets bigger, y doesn't seem to really change in any pattern that we can identify. In the sixth one, we have potentially a very weak positive correlation. That's because as x gets bigger, y seems to gently also get bigger. In graph 7, it's a very clear case of no correlation because as x gets bigger, there is really no pattern that seems to be clear with y. And then in the last one, there's a clear case of positive correlation because as x gets bigger, so does y. Great, so I hope you now feel confident identifying the 3 different types of correlation on a scatter graph. If you have any questions or queries, leave a comment in the section below. And like always, make sure to subscribe to Mr. Mitchell's Mathematics. Have a great day.